First up, though, they are probably UK's most recognisable transgender couple. And this morning, Hannah and Jade Graf are launching a very new and extremely important campaign, Trans is Human. This is a great idea, both of you. It's lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. What's the whole idea, Jade? Because I know this is a pet project of yours.
This is a project that I've been thinking of for a few years because after 10 years of media onslaught that's dehumanised the trans community, we're sort of this kind of amorphous group of, you know, the trans people. And exactly. Yeah. And no one's thinking about the fact that we are athletes and we are doctors and we are teachers and we are mothers and fathers and children. And I think we've really lost that humanity. And so for me, it was really important to tell the stories of these amazing people away from their trans identities, which is such a tiny part of who we are.
Well, this is it. All the time you two, I mean, I was guilty of it as well. I introduced you as, you know, as a trans couple. But we know you as that, I guess. You know, it's that easy shorthand. But it's just a small part of what you are because, you know, you've got your own careers, your parents, which I know is hugely important to you. And you're right, maybe we've lost sight of that a bit. More than a bit.
And that's it, you know, when you're, as Hannah always says, if you're faced with anybody, any kind of minority, if they're in front of you, it's really, really hard to put out hate and to sort of, you know, feel prejudice and hatred towards them. And I think when you've forgotten that we are all of those people and all our different identities, that's why it's so easy to ping off a horrible text online or to send some sort of, you know, hate, which we get on a daily basis still. I think we just need to remember that there is a person behind every screen, that there is a person in front of you.
And that's what it's all about. We're showing all of these remarkable people. You will see their images. Today, you'll see them in the shopping centre across the road.
We are. Would you like to tell that? Go on. I don't want to.
Yeah, it's, honestly, we're so grateful for all the space that we've been given. It's something we worked on really hard because it's one thing creating these beautiful images. It's another one getting people to see them and, more importantly, read their stories alongside it. Because I think we've all seen amazing pictures of, you know, trans people looking sort of beautiful in their authentic selves. But what we really want to know is, like, what is it about them that makes them human? What's the really boring thing about them? What's the thing that they're doing that, you know, anyone can relate to? And if we can find that connection relation with, you know, society and the audience, then maybe they'll think twice before they just, like, believe what they read in the media or on the newspapers.
Why do you think it has gotten so bad, though? Because I naively in my little bubble thought that we were getting better. You know, and when I spoke to you, it must be a decade ago that we first met. And I thought, oh, do you know what? This is actually good. And there's the two of you get married. You've got 2 children together. And so I kind of thought that, hey, you know, steps are being made. So what is it just this? Is it just social media? Is that to blame for everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things. It's complex for sure. I think there's an element of we were getting a lot of progress and a lot of people didn't like that. And there's been definitely a concerted effort to try and push some of those rights back. But primarily they've done that with some really simple messaging delivered mostly through either the mainstream media or through social media. And the world is becoming more polarised every single day. And actually, we have to realise that, you know, you have a pro-group and an anti-group in any kind of situation, but most people are in the middle.
They are.
And how do you reach those people?
Exactly.
How do you tell them, actually, you know, trans people are human, we are people, and therefore make them think differently about, you know, how they interact with us?
Very much so. I mean, you know that there's been a lot of concern. You know, a lot of people are concerned about, you know, children being given puberty blockers,
trans
children, all of that. How do you address that and what do you think about that? Because that's become something that people have got very, very upset about.
Yeah, but I think, you know, if you look back to the 80s when Anita Bryant, I think, was saying, you know, save the children from the gays, and now it's save the children from the trans people.
Right.
You know, I knew that I was trans when I was 2.5 years old. It's absolutely who I knew I was. And I had, you know, my mother has been incredibly supportive from the moment I told her and I was able to vocalise it, which actually was much, much later than I would have liked it to be. But, you know, there are a lot of these young people that, because it's everywhere now, they are able to vocalise exactly who they are. They know who they are. And all they want is to be helped. And whether or not that's help with puberty blockers or whether or not that's later on at 16 or 18, help with cross-sex hormones, whatever that is, we need to be helping these young people. And we need to be making these young people aware that there is nothing wrong with them, they're not freaks, they're not weird, that, you know, they are loved and they will find their place in the world and they can have happy, productive lives like all of our amazing contributors. And like you have,
because the thing is, by coming on a show like this and just living your life, really, just what you're just getting on with your life. And you must, Hannah, you must get a lot of young men and women who, you know, who are confused and who just want advice. The two of you must get that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole spectrum of people out there, and
Exactly. There's not like one thing.
Yeah,
you
like-
are this one thing. I mean, we're all different.
well, I'd say the
individuals.
trans bit is sometimes the least interesting part of it, for sure.
Always the least interesting.
It's
Yeah.
You're right there, actually. It's the label that's thrown around. But you kind of go, oh, yeah, it should be, oh, yeah, they happen to be that. But it's not defining you necessarily.
The things we exist, right? Look at us. Look at our people and our contributors in our campaign. Look at across the world. Trans people exist. No matter what you do with policy or whatever you put on online, that has always been the case. It will always be the case. So we've got to stop thinking about this as something that can be like eradicated or put to one side. We will always be here.
Yeah. But
and
you
we'll
see what's
constantly
happening
fight for
across
it.
the water. You see what's happening in America.
It's heartbreaking as
it
a
must be very
as a
frightening.
veteran. You know, I see a lot of my military friends out there who are now fighting for their careers, despite this huge amount of service they've given to their country. It's sad and it's scary, but we have to remember is that we can do something. We may not be able to go across the pond and change their policy, but we can talk to our community, our people. We can show them we are human, just like this campaign is.
Do you
trying
worry
to
that
do.
might happen over here, though? Or do you think
100%.
that... Do you worry about that? Because...
It's hard not to. It's hard not to worry. I think a lot of trans people and a lot of our allies spend a lot of their time worrying about the future. But what we've got to make sure is we don't allow that kind of sense of depression to become apathy.
No.
We have to continue to
you're right.
do the work that we're doing.
And you have to
because
always
we
see
will always
hope.
be here.
Yeah, you're going to have to see hope because something like You're Transhuman, the campaign, that's very hopeful.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Can I also just flag, obviously allies like yourself, Lorraine, but also allies like our photographer on the project, Mariano Vivanco, who is a
beautiful images.
phenomenal, amazing. He's one of the biggest allies. He gave his time for this project because it's something he wholeheartedly believes in, and that's why we have all these incredible images today. So thank you, Mariano. You were amazing. But no, we need our allies. We need people to be speaking out. We need, what we're seeing a lot more of is parents who have trans and gender non-conforming kids, and that's amazing because we're seeing so much support and so much love. And we just need to keep reminding people that we are human, because trans
It's human.
is human.
Well done.
As you can see.